www.thecrcoach.com. It's got a THE in front of the CR Coach. But absolutely, that's where you can find out more information. Shout out to my MAPS community. Tiana's in the room. Eric Jones Jr. is in the room. A couple of people are jumping in as we speak. But what we do in that community, guys, is we literally help people grow their ability to communicate, their ability to put up boundaries, their ability to do the components and the things that it takes in order for you to do relationships successfully. So as a result of that, oh, Lord Jesus, you know, this is the Johnny come lately. She fixing coffee.
I'm in the building.
Whatever. Why you all late? Where you been?
I was fixing coffee.
I know you was fixing coffee because you gave me mine, but then you disappeared. Where'd you go?
Good morning, guys.
You got to tell me.
I had to go put my whips on.
Oh, she had to put her whips on. That's what it was. She had to put on her whips. I love it. I love it. Ladies and gentlemen, the lovely,
Cherie Brooks,
talented,
Jr.
red whipstick wearing.
Red whipstick. Cherie Brooks Jr., author, speaker, relationship, and life balance coach. And it is lovely to be with you guys this morning. Good morning.
Love it. So, Cherie, Jay, good to see you, brother. Thanks for jumping on. Hopefully your wife can jump on as well. Looking forward to connecting to you guys soon. Do me a favor, guys. If you're interested in the MAPS community, if you're interested in being in community with people, Cherie, I was telling them how I don't think that relationships can grow successfully outside of community. And we were talking about silos.
Right.
And silos are things that are designed to store stuff. Mm-hmm. It's designed to store grain and all kinds of different things. And one of the things that people relationally often do is that they find themselves in relationship silos.
Right.
And when that happens, the light of day can't come into your situation. Mm-hmm. You can't benefit from whatever healthy is going on around you. Right. And quite frankly, as a result of that, you wind up dying. And so your relationship suffers as a result of that. Yes.
Right. And one of the biggest challenges with doing relationships is in silos is that you're only operating from your perspective. And so you don't get to hear another perspective to look at things from a different angle. So if I see things as being blue and he sees things as being black, we only have those two perspectives. We don't have an outside person that can come in and be like, well, really, that's gray.
Right.
Did you ever look at it this way? Look at it from this angle.
Right.
And so when you have people in community, when you're in a community, you have people that are walking with you through your relationships. Now, these are not fools.
Yeah.
You want to have wise counsel. You want to have people that are, have been there, done that are doing what it is that you want to do. So you don't want to necessarily have people that you're going to about your relationship issues that are struggling in their own relationship.
Right, right.
So you want to go to some people that may have been through some struggles, but they've made it through it. Or people that are, further have been married longer than you, that have been able to go through some challenges, or even just that have some wisdom in that particular area.
Yeah.
They don't even have to necessarily be married. If they are a great communicator,
then they can help you do that.
They can help you learn to communicate.
And I think that one of the challenges is, Cherie, is that it's hard to identify those kinds of people. So we tend to talk to whoever's in our presence.
So you don't just walk up to somebody on the street and be like, hey, you in a restaurant, you see a couple sitting down and just go up to them like, hey.
No, you don't do that. But see, here's how it looks. So you do that with your girlfriend. You'll do that with your dude who really ain't got no sense, but y'all love each other and y'all cool. And so you'll find yourself talking to them about things that, quite frankly, they're not skilled enough to help you with. And when I say skilled, meaning they're doing it. I cannot go to a person who's never made $1 million and ask them, can you teach me how to make $1 million? I can't ask someone you can't ask me. I can't help you if you ask me, Glenn, how do you make $1 million? Now I can ask you, I can help you make $100,000. Like I've done that. You get what I'm saying? I can teach you that. I can tell you what I did to be able to get there. I can't teach you, and what I'm really trying to get across, people can't take you to where they have not been.
Right.
And so that's what we do in MAPS. Go to thecrcoach.com, sign up, become a part of the community. We love it. For those of you all who MAPS stands for Marriages and Parenting Success. We said that already before you came. Oh. You was making coffee. So it's cool. Yeah, I'm throwing shade because I'm trying to get going. Listen, guys, if you are catching us by replay, it's all good, baby. If you're catching us by replay, I want you to make sure that you tell people, subscribe really to the YouTube channel. We've got a lot of content, Cherie, that we're coming up with that we're going to be putting over there on our YouTube channel. So make sure you follow us on youtube.com / the CR Coach. Cherie's got her sign. She's got her magic sign. The lights, the batteries fell out of the lights, so we can't light it up. But www.youtube.com / the CR Coach. And we're getting ready to go ahead and get into our content for today. So listen, I want to talk to people a little bit about this idea of understanding, first of all, and then being able to increase the intimacy that's in their marriage. And I think what I would like to do, Cherie, is set this up by saying, first of all, let's get an understanding of what intimacy is. Mm-hmm. If you look up the word intimacy, and I did a live a couple of days ago, just talking to the men. If you look up the word intimacy, what you will not see at the first definition, maybe down around 5 or 6, but the first definition of intimacy has nothing to do with physical touch. Nothing. Mm. And I think that I want to start there. I think there's an understanding or a misunderstanding of what intimacy is. So in marriages, in relationships, people are not getting it because, quite frankly, what you are calling intimacy ain't that.
Right. Sex is not intimacy. That is a form of intimacy, but it is not intimacy in its totality. Intimacy is a closeness. It's a connection that you have with your significant other. It is, you see that couple that they always finish each other's sentences. They have an intimate relationship because they've grown so close to one another.
Right.
That they're connected. It's a connection. It's a connection.
No, and I think the word you said, closeness, is really spot on because, and I'll just give you from a physical analogy. So we are in a intimate environment. When you hear the word, mm-hmm. when you hear, we went to a venue and we saw
it's an intimate setting,
whoever the artist is, but it was an intimate setting. That don't mean everybody was in there having sex.
No, I hope not.
You know what I'm saying? I won't go to that event. What it does, that wasn't in there meaning that everybody was in there touching each other.
Right. What
that does mean is that everybody in there was close. And the event was close. It was up close, personal. You could almost touch the stage.
Up close and personal.
Up close and personal is probably a great way to describe what intimacy should look like. So right now, physically speaking, you and I are up close and personal. We are in each other's space. Mm-hmm. And I think that if you guys begin to understand that, now when we begin to give you guys these 5 tips on how to increase that, mm-hmm. then what you'll be able to do is you'll be able to latch a hold of what it actually is.
Right. And if you think about intimacy, so most of us have at least one intimate relationship with somebody. So your best friend, this is the person that you go to, that you share everything with. That's an intimate relationship because there's a level of closeness, a level of comfort that you have with this person, that you can share everything with them, that you can be yourself. You're free to be you. There are no barriers there. You're not on guard with this person.
Yeah.
That's the same level of relationship you should have with your spouse.
Yeah. And the reason why most people don't have that relationship is because and we're going to break it down. We're going to give you 5 things. If y'all are ready for the 5 things that you can do physically to increase the intimacy, I want y'all to just start putting a 5 in the chat. Put a 5 in the chat. Put a 5 in the chat. Everybody go ahead, put a quick 5 in the chat. And we're not going to go on until we get people putting 5s in chats. While we're doing that, I just want to say a shout out to Latasha. Good to see you all the way from in the woods somewhere in North Carolina. We just want to say thank you.
She got to be in the woods.
Because I don't think they live next to a major city. I don't think they do. So I'm affectionately saying that, Tosh. Tell Will we said hey, and it's good to see that the twins are doing well. We miss you guys. Jametha, I keep wanting to know, how do you pronounce your name so I can say it correctly? You jumped on my live a couple of days ago, and I want to make sure I'm pronouncing your name right. Lakeith, what's going on, brother? Good to see you. Mr. McDuffie, appreciate you and Kim. Okay, so Eric said he got 5 on. I got 5 on it. We ain't gonna sing the rest of that song because that's an inappropriate song, Eric. That song is inappropriate. So
not appropriate.
It's not appropriate, Pop.
As our granddaughter would say.
As our granddaughter would say. So Cherie, okay, good. Keith said he got 5 on it. Look, what we want to do is we want to quickly go through these things, guys. I'm hoping that they will help you, but we're talking about, listen, these are 5 proven ways, to increase the intimacy, not only in marriage, but in relationships in general. We're talking about couples, but this will help you understand how to do that. Number one is spending time. So I went over this last week a little bit, babe, and I had to help people understand. You and I have a ritual. Mm-hmm. It's called date night. Right. We do date night come hell or high water, no matter what city we in, we're going to do date night. Even if we're not in the same city, you and I often will do date night. Why do we do date night? Is it to go out to eat? No. Is it to go have fun? What's the reason for doing date night?
The primary reason for date night is it's a time to reconnect. You've gone through the busyness of the week. You've been on your page at work. I've been on my page at work. It's a time to decompress basically together, to be able to reconnect, to be able to sit and just talk about us.
Right.
Just be in each other's presence. And it's not necessarily a time to talk about particular issues or anything like that, but it's just a time of reconnection, because during the week, I mean, if you think about even with your kids are at school all day, 8 hours a day when they're in school. So if you don't take the time to connect with them, you won't have an intimate relationship even with your children.
Got it.
Because the majority of their time is spent outside of the home. So what we've purposed to do in our relationship is that, at the end of the week, usually on Friday, we take time out for us. Yep. Where we just, we could be sitting around watching TV, a Netflix and a pizza. Well, not pizza, but
the
pizza.
We don't mess with pizza.
Whatever, we can sit at home. We don't have to necessarily go out. We could go for a walk. Whatever it is, it's just a time for us where we're not talking about work. We're not talking about the kids. We're talking about just dreaming together, talking about what we want to do, where we want to go, how we, how our relationship is going, just enjoying each other's company.
Absolutely.
Just spending time.
So Tiana, you're right. Spend time is just that, spend time. The operative word is spend. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to help you guys understand something. See, time is one of those commodities. It's really precious because once it's given, you can't get it back. So when you spend time, you're giving it away. You're giving your time to something, right? The question is, what are you giving your time to? So when I'm spending time with you, what I'm doing is I'm investing time into you. Let me tell y'all what that produces. Whenever you spend something, there's something you get in return. Yes.
And it costs you something.
First of all, it costs you to be able to spend it because you have to earn the thing that you're spending. So if you're spending money, you have to go earn it first. So you have to have money to even spend it. You have to have time to spend it, right? So once you spend it, the question becomes if it was valuable enough for you to earn it. Mm-hmm. And it was valuable enough, or you consider the thing you're spending it on valuable enough, then my question is, what is the return that you get from it?
Right.
The return you get from spending time is intimacy.
Right.
I want y'all to hear that really basic and really clear, as much as that sounds really elementary. But many of you guys are not getting intimacy because you won't spend time.
Right. Because you're not willing to pay the cost to spend time. So for you, it's more valuable to you to work late into the night, to work on a project, or to do whatever your hobby or your interests are. That's more valuable to you than for you to take an hour or 2 hours to invest in your relationship with your spouse or invest in your relationship with your children.
Exactly. And as a result, you don't get the intimacy that you are looking for. Does that make sense? If y'all are ready for number 2, I appreciate that, Jay. He said, by the way, if you guys are in need of a photographer, this man takes some dope pictures. Do me a favor. I don't normally do this, Jay, but put your website address in the chat, because if there's anybody in the Hampton Roads area, and by the way, his wife owns a travel company. So the crazy thing is that he'll jump on a plane in a heartbeat and come shoot your event, even if it's all the way in the Midwest, Eric Jones Jr. So what I want you guys to do is definitely catch up with my dude, Jay Miller, your number one Camera Shooter is the name of his company. Came out, took some dope photos of an event that we just recently did. But number one is spending time. Number two, if you're ready for number two, put that in the chat. I need to see number two in the chat. Number two, give me a number two. I'm not going any further until I see a number two. Number two. So number one, bossy, we said spending time. Yeah, I'm being bossy today, ain't I? I'm just throwing you under the bus, throwing you shade, just making people.
Put a two in the chat.
I'm gonna need that two. I'm gonna need a two. Like look. It's like we rolling dice. Come on, two. Look, I ain't moving until I get a two, guys. Y'all sitting there laughing and ain't nobody paying attention. We not moving on until we get a number two. So Cherie, one of the things I do want to tell people is that Tiana is exactly right when she says this. The return you get back from intimacy, the return you get back is intimacy when you spend time. I need you guys to understand that very clearly. You will always get a return on the things you spend.
Yes.
And so the question is, what are you getting the return on? Okay.
You got two.
I got twos. I got twos. I got twos. No sing. Okay.
Number two.
So number two, 5 ways to proven ways to increase the intimacy in your relationship is to pay attention.
And what does that mean?
So now we talked about spending time, right? When you spend time, you invest, right? Mm-hmm. When you pay attention, again, we're talking about investing. We're talking about paying something. When I pay attention, what I do is I resolve that I'm going to study my relationships. Mm. Hear me clearly, guys. Paying attention has everything to do with slowing down and being peripheral, not tunnel. Mm-hmm. Being able to see things from the wide angle, from the macro or top down, than to see things in the moment, right? When I am paying attention to you, I notice certain things.
Right. And if you think about it, when you are dating a person, when you first meet a person, you're paying attention to everything because you're picking up on those little cues. You're keenly in tune with that person. And so you're paying attention to the little things. And what happens after we've been married, we've been together for a while, you start taking them for granted. Mm-hmm. And so you don't pay attention to those little cues anymore. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't want to say the little size, just noticing like things that they may want or things that they need or areas that they need help in. You don't pay attention to that anymore.
Right.
And so you're so focused on you. Like Glenn said, you gain tunnel vision and you're just focused on you and your task that you're not paying attention to. I mean, like I'll use this as an example. So you don't pay attention to the fact that the handle is hanging off the front door.
Yeah.
You just come in the house, you work around it and you come in the house every day.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention to the little details anymore.
Yeah.
You're just moving about your day. You just doing what you got to do to make it happen. But we do that same thing in relationships. So we don't pay attention to that. You know, my spouse seems to be pulling back or there seems to be something going on. They're in a weird mood. Not that it's my responsibility to make them happen, but I should be paying attention enough to ask them, are you okay?
So when we talk about paying attention, how this relates to intimacy, and I'm going to do some Q&A in the end. And Jay, I see that question. So do me a favor. I want you to give me some context around that because I really want to make sure I'm answering it specifically. I love Tiana's response on this paying attention piece. Tiana dropped in, pay attention in the school of your spouse. For her, it's called Ericology.
I love that.
I love that. I love that. We're going to absolutely, we got to screenshot that, do something. That is dope. And the reason why is because if I am in the school of Shariology, what that means is that it is impossible for me to pay attention and us not become close as a result of that.
Right.
When I'm paying attention to what's going on with her, it causes me to be sensitive. I honestly believe that you can't be sensitive to people until you're exposed to them.
Right.
And so there are needs that you have that I'm not really sensitive to if I'm not exposed to it. And oftentimes that comes because I'm not paying attention. It's not because it's not there. Mm-hmm. It's because I'm not seeing it. And the reason why is because I'm so busy. I'm so caught up. I'm so doing what I got to do that I'm more important, or what I'm doing is more important than what it is that you're going through. And so when I do pay attention, the return on that investment is we will eventually get closer. We have to over time.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Y'all ready for number 3? Y'all ready for number 3? We're going to go through these guys, and at the end, we're going to do a Q&A. So I want y'all to stick around to the end, please. After we get through this content really quickly, drop a number 3 if y'all ready for number 3. Drop a number 3 if y'all ready for number 3. If you ain't ready for number 3, then you don't have to drop the number 3. But if you are, I appreciate you doing. We're talking about 5 proven ways to increase. Don't look at me like that. The intimacy. I don't
drop a little.
Right. I know you. I was freestyle a little bit. A little something. Look. No. That was not my career. 1 is spending time. Number 2 is paying attention. I see people starting to drop 3s already, and so we will go to selflessness. So I talked about selflessness in this. I did a live a couple of days ago, babe, and I kind of started on this. But selflessness really spoke volumes to me, and the reason why is because I had a problem with doing that. I had a problem with taking me off of the throne, taking me off of the point position, taking me out of the picture so that I could focus on everything else. And so everything was about me. Everything. Yes, I'm saying it. I've said it 1,000 times. I don't know why you're looking at me like, really? I never knew. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
I'm thinking of an example.
It's in all 6 of our books.
I'm thinking of an example.
Well, please share. Please share.
So selflessness is basically considering others.
Yeah.
Considering your significant other. One thing that early on in our relationship that Glenn would always do that was a indicator that he was selfish, but I was in love.
She was in love.
So we would be riding in a car and he would stop at the gas station.
Oh, gosh.
He'd go in.
Don't tell us.
This
is embarrassing.
For the gas, so he would go inside. That was, people. We actually carried cash. Back then.
Full disclosure, I was terrible, guys. I was a jerk. Please understand.
I'm in the car.
This is bad.
The kids are in the car.
Right.
We're all in the car. I'm gonna stop and get gas. Okay, so he goes in the gas station. He comes back out with a bag. I'm like, okay.
Oh gosh.
He done got him something to drink. He done got him some chips, some cookies, whatever. He comes up to the car. He goes to pump the gas, and I was like, excuse me, did you think maybe somebody else wanted something? But y'all ain't asked for nothing. You said you were going to get gas. Why would I assume that you were buying anything other than gas?
Oh gosh.
Did you not think when you went in and you saw the chips, hey, maybe they want some?
Your man won't thinking.
And he ain't got a big bag. He got the little individual bag, so he's sitting
right. I ain't got enough to share.
Going for
she said I had the little individual jump.
I'm like, that's selfish.
Right. And Cherie, I'm telling you right now, I grew up, and this is what a lot of people don't understand. When you get in a relationship with people, you also get in a relationship with their past. I'm going to say that again. When you get into a relationship with anyone, you will also simultaneously get into relationship with their past. And so I grew up as in a single parent home. I was the oldest, but my sister and I were really close in age. And there was a lot that I just did not get. And one of those things was this idea of that you ain't the only thing that matter here. In my larger family, grandparents, aunts, and all that sort of stuff, for whatever reason, I was always the grandson or the nephew that was doted on. Everything I did was special. Everything I did needed to have extra put to it, right? When we would go to cookouts, my grandmother would buy me, and y'all remember this back in the day when KFC was called Kentucky Fried Chicken. It wasn't called KFC.
Yeah,
they used to have, right. They had a bucket of chicken, but then they had a barrel of chicken. Y'all remember that? And I think that barrel had like 30 pieces of chicken. My grandmother, no lie, I couldn't have been more than 10, would bring a barrel of chicken to the cookout just for me. Now, you would think that I was this huge kid that just could eat all. It wasn't that I could eat it all. It was the fact that she just wanted to say publicly, that's all for him. Well, when you grow up in an environment where you're doted on like that for whatever reasons, because of my charisma, because I was cute, I don't know what it was. I posted some Throwback Thursday pictures of us, and there was a bunch of people commenting. It was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, like they really are 20. Like they would be making this big deal. So I grow up as that cat who was everything rises and falls on me. Go ahead.
You know something, just hearing that story, and I've heard it 1,000 times. I wonder if you, as a grandmother, I'm thinking maybe she was giving you the barrel of chicken
so that I could learn to share.
Could learn to share.
Well, here was the problem. Here's what you did. That wasn't
you couldn't eat 30 pieces. No, babe,
so
that wasn't give it to you.
She would come up and she said, I want everybody to know that's his barrel. Don't nobody ask for his chicken. And the reason she called herself doing this is because I really like chicken and she wanted to make sure I got some. That was as dysfunctional as it could get. Now, my grandmother, God bless her heart, is 94 today. And I promise you, when I come through, if don't nobody get conversation, your man is going to get all the conversation. So she ain't changed in all that year. I say all of that to say, guys, that selflessness does not serve, selfishness doesn't serve a relationship well. Selflessness is what it takes in order to be close. Let me help you understand that just really quickly. I want you to chime in. When I take me off the throne, I make room for you.
Right.
When I take me out of the picture, you're all I get to see. Mm-hmm. When I take me out the picture, I get to focus on my children and what they're going through and what they may need from me, as opposed to what I don't pay attention to. So selflessness is, if you can implore this, guys, I promise you it will increase your intimacy, because after a while, people will become closer to you because they recognize, you know what, this person really is here for me.
Right. And it's about just, as we said before, considering the other person, putting them first. Right. Not always focusing on your own wants and needs, but considering the needs of your significant other.
Absolutely. So we're going to rattle through the next two. Number four. I'm not going to make y'all say number 4 because I know y'all are already engaged. Number 4 is serving. And this goes really to the next step of selflessness. Mm-hmm. Cherie, this is huge for you because one of your love languages is acts of service. Mm-hmm. So you serve, the way you speak love is by serving. Right. It's nothing for you to get up and just cook breakfast. It's nothing for you to get up and just clean the house. It's nothing for you to get up and just go and do for others, because that's how you love. You say, I love you. And the way you do that is by serving people. Right. Now, for people like me, that ain't my love language, it is hard for me to serve other people because I grew up selfish. Right. So when I decide to become selfless, now I put myself in a position to be able to serve. And I got a question for you. When I serve you, does that cause us to grow closer?
Yes, it definitely does, because it shows me that you're willing to go outside of yourself to do something for me. Yeah. And it doesn't have to be something big. It can be something little. It can be like in the wintertime, you getting up early and starting my car for me, because I leave the house at 6:30 in the morning. You don't necessarily, because you work from home, you don't have to get up that early, but you'll get up, and, go warm my car for me. Mm-hmm. That's a little thing, but it means a lot to me because you're serving, because you're thinking about me. When you wake up in the morning and you're thinking about me. Mm-hmm. And so it's little things like that. So it's going outside of your norm. Now, let me just phrase this. When we say serve, this is not, we're not talking about traditional roles that the wife has to do. Yeah, no, we're not dealing with that. We're not talking about that. No. This is you doing something outside of the norm to fulfill a need or to help your spouse. So if there's something like, if you know that he's got a meeting coming up next week, go take his stuff to the cleaners. Don't wait for him to ask you. Mm-hmm. Or, if you know that she's got, something, she needs some time off because she's in school and she's got a test coming up. Tell her, I'm going to take the kids and we're going to go out tonight so that you can study tonight. Mm-hmm. That's serving. That's giving them, that's your taking a load off of their plate and you handling that to give them some time to free something up for them. Love it. So, if it's going to wash their car, whatever it is you're stepping in and doing something to help them. It's basically when you think of serving, you're helping. Yeah. It's being a helper to your spouse. Yeah. And doing it without them asking. Right. Absolutely. And that, go ahead. And that all goes back to the whole paying attention. Yeah. Being selfless. Yeah. all of that comes in together. You have to do all of that in order to serve your spouse.
Yeah, absolutely. Tiana says something. I appreciate you commenting like this, Tiana. It really is blessing me. She said, thinking about the person, think outside the box. So this isn't about the traditional way that you would necessarily approach this particular person, but it's, going the extra mile. That's why oftentimes little gifts that people create. We went over our daughter's house last night when Justin got in, our son, and he's staying with them, and Mimi came up and said, Pop, I made a picture for you. And I'm thinking, it's a bunch of squiggly lines. So I'm like, she's 4. So I'm trying to figure out, what is this? And she says, it's for you. And I said, okay, baby, well, what is it? And here's what really made me feel bad. She said, Pop, it's a picture of you. It's like, whoa. And then, you know what? Here's how I recovered. I turned it around. It's like, oh, okay. Yup. You know what? Let me turn this around. Now it looks like Mimi. I had the thing all turned around back. Thank you. She said, you can keep it. You can have that. And what that did is that it helped me to understand that it's those little creative things outside that let me know that she really is thinking about me. She really cares about me. She cares about our relationship. And that happens with grown people all the time. We don't do that enough. And so as a result of that, we never feel intimate. I don't feel close to a person that ain't paying attention to me. Right. It's hard to feel close to a person that won't spend time with me. It's really difficult to feel close to a person that's selfish. It's hard to be close to a person that isn't a server, isn't a servant. They're not willing to do anything above and beyond because it's not about me. It's about them. Right. In that case, our relationship is going to be void of intimacy. Right. And so, fellas, I'm going to tell you something right now. That's why the store is closed.
Crickets.
Yeah.
What store? They're trying to figure
out. They know what store I'm talking about.
The store?
They know exactly what store I'm talking about. That's why for you thought the store was open from 8 in the morning to 8 at night. They got new hours.
Only open on holidays.
Only open on the weekends. we close it. No, they got a sign in the window. We've moved.
Oh.
Yeah.
Women need intimacy, and intimacy for women is not physical. We need that emotional intimacy in order for the store to be open. So
we're not going to go into that because that's a whole nother talk, and we'll probably do that. But I'm going to tell y'all how to make sure that the store is open. The store not closed. She said the store is not closed. How do you get the store open 24 hours a day? Now, whether you go shopping in it or not is up to you, but the store is always open. How do you get there? I can help you. That's on another call, but we'll do that the next time. What's up, Cherie? Good to see you. Our newlywed is in the building. Are y'all up on a year yet? I don't know. If you are, tell me. I think y'all coming up on close to a year. Yeah. Congratulations to you guys. Love y'all. The last thing, number 5, and then we're going to get into some Q&A for those of you all who want to chop it up. Maybe a specific question you have. I want to take a couple of questions at the end of the show today. So the number 5 thing is support. The number 5 thing in order to be able to increase the intimacy in your relationship is support. It's 8:30 and 8:38. So we got to wrap this up. So here's we got a coaching call coming up. So we got to get out of here. But what do I mean when I say support, babe? When I say that helps to increase the intimacy in our relationship, how is me supporting you? How does that look and how does that help you?
It's being your spouse's number 1 fan. Whatever they do, whatever they're doing, you're their biggest cheerleader. Like for me, I've been in school, seems like forever now. And it's been a drain on my time. And so whereas I had more time to be able for us to do stuff and even to be more involved in the business, my being in school has been, something that has taken up my time, but Glenn has not complained. He's always supported me through that. He's been there, cheering me on when I get frustrated, when I get, I want to quit. He's in my corner. He's always in my corner, always supporting him. Even for him with the business, this started out as his thing. I wasn't really actively involved in it, but I've always been his biggest. From the time when we met, because he's been a speaker all of our lives, all of our married life. And so I've always been his biggest cheerleader. And it's not blowing smoke. It's not,
gassing me up,
gassing him up, but it's truly supporting whatever their vision and their mission is. And part of that supporting is being able to be honest with them and share with them your input. Is taking an interest in whatever it is they're involved in.
Right.
And even if you don't necessarily agree, support their effort.
Right.
Let them know, hey, I think it's great that you're trying to do this, but let's talk. Maybe I got some ideas. Maybe let's look at this from a different way. You can still give them constructive criticism, but you should still support them in the fact that they're doing whatever they're doing, or that they're trying to do whatever it is that they're trying to do.
Absolutely.
Because if they feel like there's nobody in their corner, think about yourself. If you're trying to do something and there's nobody in your corner, there's nobody backing you, nobody supporting you, you're gonna feel deflated.
Yeah.
And especially when you have those failures, and you have to remember, failure is part of the road to success. You're going to fail along the way.
Yeah.
Nobody starts a business today and it's successful from day one. It takes time.
Absolutely.
But you have to be wise in what you're doing and all of that. But they need your support for them to continue on, because if you really believe in them, and I can say I have believed in Glenn from day one.
No doubt. No doubt. When I didn't believe in me, she believed in me, y'all. You got to understand that support for me looks like that when the Mr. Rah-Rah guy, the Mr. can get people excited about anything, the Mr. can sell the water to a whale guy. When I get down in the dumps, that's a low place, because that's not typically who I am. And there have been times and moments where I didn't have any more confidence in myself. I didn't have confidence that I was the guy that could make a difference, that I was the guy that was making a difference. I mean, this is in the middle of making a difference in people's lives. I'm feeling like I don't matter. And Cherie has always been there to say, no, let me tell you who you are, so that you understand. Let me tell you who you are. And she would just start listing things. You are this guy. You are this guy. And it wasn't no smoke. And then I remember, I'm like, you know what? I am that guy. not from a ego standpoint, but you're right. Like I cannot. Yup, you're right. I'm that guy. Yup, I'm that guy. And she would always be able to. I mean, for 20 years before we were married, you were my biggest fan. It's probably what helped me notice you so much. Not that you were trying to be like, hey me, pick me for the team, but she's just always been a huge supporter of mine and willing to ride with me. So I think that has caused our intimacy for me to grow in leaps and bounds, because I know at the end of the day, you got my back. Right.
And even if your spouse, if they only got it in one area right now, say they struggle in some other areas, that one area that they are on it, you need to let them know you got this.
That's your thing.
That's your thing.
Right.
It might be one thing. I'm not saying they don't need growth. I'm not saying that they don't need, to continue to grow and improve.
Yeah.
But if they got one area,
give them their kudos.
Everybody got one.
Everybody got at least one.
Everybody got
half of one.
Boy, when you wash them dishes.
Whoa, let me explain something to you. I don't know nobody
that
wash do dishes like you. That. God Almighty. Like they ought to open up a store, and you ought to train people and make them
teach people how.
You need to get them to pay you.
Never have to go behind
how to ever. Like that's your thing, right? And so I know that sounds like the most, but when you are in a dark place, or when you are in a place of, listen to me, guys, moving away from each other, you need to have that kind of language so that it can pull you closer to one another.
Right,
so,
and that's the thing. When you start focusing on the good in your spouse, when you find that one thing, y'all could be going through
a crazy
hell all around y'all. When you take the time and step back and focus on that one thing, if it's one thing, that's going to help to draw y'all closer.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to focus on that.
Absolutely.
And not focus on everything else. Not to say that stuff disappears and you don't deal with it. But the intimacy will improve because you're focusing on that one thing, and it helps to draw you back. And this is one thing that kills me. People, you get married, we forget all of the stuff that, because apparently there was an attraction. There was something that was like dope about you that I even was willing to get with you.
Right.
But I done forgot about that now, because now we got babies, we got work, we got this, that, and the other. We get so caught up in life that we forget. Sometimes you need to step back and just look at them and be like, boy,
I know that's right. Come on, talk to me.
I remember when.
What you remember?
Remember when we used to, And we used to,
Mm-hmm.
and how you used to.
Ooh, yeah, I remember that. I remember that. Matter of fact, I'm thinking maybe
we might still be in.
Hey, let's go ahead. We're gonna see y'all later because we gotta. But do y'all understand how
you have to reconnect? You
have to,
and that's what intimacy is about: is being able to reconnect with your spouse and maintain that connection.
Absolutely. So, guys, we're gonna answer a couple of quick questions. If you got any, you guys have hung around. Just shout out to us, let us know, chime in real quickly. I'm going to scroll back really quickly. I don't know if my guy, where was it? It was a question that, not Lakeith. Who was it that posted? It was Jay. Jay posted a question and he wanted to know, okay, but if you don't get a return, Jay, if you still on, do me a favor and elaborate on that a little bit. So I'm going to go off of what I think you're saying for now until I hear you post something different. So Cherie, what happens? And by the way, I just realized I spelled intimacy wrong. It's got a I-M.
Intimacy?
Yeah, intimacy. Y'all know, hey, look, let me explain something to you. Just because I'm an author don't mean I know how to spell. That's what they got spell check for.
It's okay.
I apologize for that. But anyway, so at any rate, what I want to know is, guys, listen, if you got any quick questions, let us know. But I want you guys to understand. Oh, I spelled it right here. How about that? I got it right on this one. I will let that one scroll. Okay. What happens if you don't get a return? What happens when I'm doing all these 5 things and I'm spending time, but I don't get a return? I almost want to ask, and this is a one-way conversation with you, Jay, because I don't have you in the room. First of all, guys, if you have a specific question and you want to get with us specifically because there's a scenario that you're going through and you want to figure out how to navigate through that, hit us up at thecrcoach.com. Schedule a coaching session with us, a 30-minute free coaching session. Not going to charge you a dime. I just want to assess where you at. Like, can I help you? Because I may not be able to help you. But if you need some help and you need to talk through a very specific scenario, schedule 30 minutes with me. And that way I can answer a very specific question because I can get some back and forth. But I'm hearing what happens when you spend time, you're not getting the investment back or the return on the investment in intimacy and you don't see it. What do you do then?
Well, first I would ask, how long have you been doing it? And then I would ask, and Tiana asked, she said, how are you doing it? Like, what is it? What exactly is it that you do? Are you doing something that suits you? Or are you really considering the other person? But the biggest thing I would say is that you just have to continue to keep doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That eventually over time, you'll start to see an investment. But you have, somebody has to go first.
Yeah.
If your relationship has got to that point that it's stale, there's a stall, it's going to take a minute. Mm-hmm. It's not going to happen overnight. You serving for a week is not going to open the floodgates.
And let me just say this, guys, relationships are a marathon and not a sprint. You can be serving for 3 years, but in the span of 30 years, that's no time.
Right.
But because you're only 4 years into the game and you're saying, I've been doing this for 3 years and it's not working, here's what you don't have. You don't have the benefit of time that says if you continue to sow, you will eventually reap. The other part I'm going to suggest is that your motives have got to be right. See, I don't spend time to get intimacy. I spend time because I like this woman. I spend time because I said I do. I spend time because I want to be around her. I spend time because she is actually my friend. Mm-hmm. And so what I get in return on that is intimacy, because by default, I think it is impossible to spend quality time and you not become closer. Now, here is what I will say. Sometimes in getting closer, you will get up close and see things that you don't like. Mm-hmm. You can get up close to a picture and now you can see the flaws that are in it. I think that those are opportunities for you to go to work on something to make it better. Not to complain and not to hound on, well, you don't do this right, and that's why I don't want to be with you right now. And you go through all your little ghetto logic stuff that just don't work. And I honestly think, Cherie, that it's impossible for me to spend time with you and we not get closer over time.
Right. And I think one thing that you said that's key is that you like me, that we're friends. And I think what happens in relationships is that we lose our friendship, or we got in relationships and we weren't friends.
Right.
And so if you don't have a friendship with your spouse, it's going to be difficult to have intimacy. Because
absolutely. Real talk.
We look at intimacy as that physical part. That's lust.
Right. It's a strong desire. Okay. Right. If you want to, the definition of lust is strong desire.
Right.
That's all that is.
That is not intimacy. Intimacy is that, I'll go back to what I said earlier. When you think about your relationship with your best friend, that is an intimate relationship because you have a friendship.
Yes.
You have things in common. You like that person. You can love a person all day long and not like them.
Yes.
But if you like them and you love them, your intimacy is going to be here.
Tiana said it this way, and I think this is super dope, and maybe we'll finish here. But she says sometimes you don't like to go first, or you feel like you always go first. But we have to look at the bigger picture. What is your end results? Thank you guys for your help. In other words, what is the end game?
Right.
I honestly feel like our end game is that we would build a life together.
Right.
That's the end game.
Right. So if I got to go first all the time, then fine, because I have a goal in mind, and I'm going to fight for my relationship, regardless of what he does. I'm fighting for it. And so if that means I'm the one that's always going first, then fine, because for me, this is worth it. And so I'm gonna do the work. And my prayer is that he's gonna come along, he's gonna get it eventually, but I'm gonna continue to keep doing the work. And that's what you have to have, that attitude, that mentality that this is, where you're trying to go.
Yeah.
And you're willing to do it. It's not tit for tat. Well, I did this and you ain't do that.
No. Yeah. That's a painful situation. And quite frankly, it can only end badly. When you go tit for tat and when you begin to, compete like that, right, it can only end badly. That doesn't end well. And the reason why is because it doesn't have love at its center. Guys, we're going to have to jump out of here. We got a coaching call coming up here in a few minutes. If you guys would love to connect with us, we would love to have you do us a favor. Go to www.thecrcoach.com. This one is dancing. I don't know why you dancing. You ain't even got a song.
Hangry.
You hangry. Oh, Lord Jesus, it's time to really go now. We got to grab something to eat before that. So here's the deal, guys. Go visit us at thecrcoach.com. Set up a 30-minute session. Just click on the link. It will send you to a place where you can schedule some time with me during the day, with us in the evening. And I'd love to be able to figure out how we can help. If the MAPS community can help you, then you can join it that way as well. But more importantly, stop doing relationships by yourself. Stop trying to figure out how to do this by talking to fools. Stop trusting in your own flesh that you got this when you don't got this, because clearly the results in your life prove that you don't have it. And allow somebody, don't have to be us, but allow somebody to help you.
And don't wait until it's crisis time.
Come on.
If things are
some
good
of y'all
right
wait till
now,
you get stage 4 cancer to go to the doctor.
Right. If your relationship is okay right now, but you see that there's room for improvement, that's the time to reach out to somebody.
Absolutely.
Don't wait until the ish done hit the fan.
And you sit up there tripping.
Reaching out then.
Right. So guys, listen, we got to run. Appreciate you guys for everything that you do and showing up every week. We'll be back next week, 8 a.m. Bright and early. Breakfast with the Brookses. At the end of the day, guys, y'all already know, #, we all need some help. We'll talk to you guys soon. Be good.